play trumpet at the School of Music, and I'm a graduate student. So anyway, I'm taking this fiction class, and the point of the exercise was to write about some kind of decision the main character has to make, something like, it's just kind of a very hard decision they have to make. So anyway, I wrote this for a class, and it's about conflict, and I really hope you like it. And yeah, okay, here we go. This story is called The Farmhouse. John leaned his torso out the passenger side window of the Chrysler New Yorker with his tongue hanging out. The vehicle cruised at a comfortable speed of 40 miles per hour while Yandy, driving with her knee, tried to light a cigarette. It was amazing the way she handled the car, one knee up, then grabbing a stick from the pack with her teeth, driving with one foot. The ride was so smooth that she could have been driving with four hands, and it would have felt the same to John. "Better get back in here, boy," Yandy said, the words muffled by Virginia Slim. "Next thing you know, you'll have a lightning bug in your damn mouth." John immediately slapped it shut. He didn't like bugs. He didn't like touching them, lighting them on fire, or eating them. Some kids at school had dared him to eat a beetle, and when he refused, they held him down and stuffed it through his teeth. He screamed until he heard a horrible crunching sound in the back of his mouth. It was over for the little bug, and John cried the rest of the day. He cried so much that Mrs. Calamine told him to go to the nurse to fix himself up. John walked to the tiny nurse's station, blubbering, his mouth agape with black specks of beetle in them. The nurse felt his pain. She made him brush his teeth and let him sleep the rest of the day. He never told Yandy about it. "Why you gotta cuss for?" John asked. He slid back in the car with a thump. "I don't know. Why you gotta stutter?" Yandy snapped. It was true that John did have a speech impediment. He had given up trying to control it at an early age. The doctors tried to make him go to speech therapy and gave him exercises to improve his speech and told him that he would grow out of it, but he never did. As disappointing as it was, John didn't let it bother him. It was something that made him special. All his buddies made jokes about him, imitated him, but they also stood up for him when the bullies came. The radio blasted music from a B-side of a tape. Some of the tracks were wild little jazz, bebopping, sailing, probably Bird, John guessed. The others were hip-hop, blues, and maybe an Anita Baker song, too. Then he recognized all the tunes. It was a tape Yandy had made last summer when she figured out how to dub the songs from the radio to the tape. She was so excited that she made all her friends tape, even John, who was not exactly her friend at the time. He looked over to Yandy as she steered the car faster and faster, tapping out at 69 miles per hour. She slouched and spread her legs apart like a man. 69 is my favorite speed. You want to know why? She asked. The cigarette was hanging from her gloss-covered lips. Her face was framed by the open window on the driver's side, and John wanted to take a picture of it. He thought it was bizarre that a girl like Yandy, a short-haired pixie, would be smoking a cigarette of that length. It bothered him like puzzle pieces that don't quite fit. 6 plus 9 is 15. Some people think it's 16, but I know how to add it, he said, looking straight ahead towards the farmland. "Oh, John," she said, laughing so hard that the slim dropped on her thigh. She brushed off the ash from her hairless leg and said, "You got it, baby, 15. They kept driving until a dirt road appeared to the right, and Yandy turned onto it. "Say," John said, "I thought we were going to just ride around on the state road, Yandy." Yandy kept driving and didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, she asked, "You ever been out here? There's a farmhouse just along this way, and I hear it's haunted." John squinted to see the farmhouse, which was nearly 5 miles out, he guessed. Part of it was caved in, and he could see that all the windows were broken. "Can't no ghosts live in there, Yandy. Half the thing is gone." "Yeah, they can too," she said. "Ghosts don't care about aesthetics." "What's that mean?" "It means that ghosts don't care about the way a thing looks. They just go in and do their thing and then haunt people." "You are so stupid," Yandy said, but she was smiling at him. "Don't call me that," John said. "Call you what, baby?" The car approached the farmhouse, and Yandy slowed the car to a crawl. "You know," John stopped to gather himself, "you know what I mean, Yandy. You're so mean sometimes, and I don't understand you." Yandy pulled the car up right to the front door. The grass was high, sunburned, probably infested with bugs. John rummaged in the glove box for another tape as they sat in silence. Yandy said, John, I'm not trying to be mean to you. You're just my special friend." People say I'm special, all right. He found a tape labeled Slow Jams in purple cursive writing. He popped the tape in, and the smooth sounds of a saxophone came through the distorted speakers. Suddenly, Yandy touched him in a place he had not been touched before. John felt his body tense and was afraid to look at her. Hot bubbles of perspiration formed at his temples. "You see that house in front of us, John?" I used to live in that house. It was just me and my daddy for years. Yandy scooted closer to him in the car, which smelled like smoke and musty furniture. John relaxed a little bit, taken in by her story and wanting to know what it was like to have a daddy and actually live in a house instead of a trailer. Just you and your daddy? John asked, still not looking at her. Yep, just me and my old man. He was a nice man, John, real nice to me and my friends. And I'll be nice to you if you let me. But you ain't nice, Yandy, John said. All you do is make fun. I made you that tape, didn't I? Yandy was on him now. He could feel her smoky breath along his ear. His blood was pulsing so much that he could feel it in his groin, a thump in his chest, too. Yeah, I guess. What did you and your daddy do? John asked. Yandy straddled him on the seat and whispered, lots of things. John looked straight on at her face, which seemed much older than 16 to him. Her bloodshot eyes had flecks of gray in them as well as a brown mole. She smelled of ketamine and berries. When did you eat berries, Yandy? John asked, trying to remember what they had had for lunch at school that day. And then she was all over him. He tasted the berries, the ketamine, all the sugary substances in her mouth combined in one. He couldn't breathe, but he liked the way it felt. He had never felt such excitement, such pleasure and freedom. His hands found their way to the radio, and he fumbled with the controls. The music was distracting him and hindering the experience. Yandy said, "What are you doing, dummy?" Her face was slick with his saliva, and John could see the smudge mascara at the corner of her eyes. I was just trying to... The radio was, he began. Yandy grabbed the tape from the player and threw it towards the house. It landed just inside the front door. Yandy, not the tape. What are we going to listen to on the way home? Yandy let out a furious laugh that hurt John's ears. Do you hear this, kid? She screamed to no one. Exasperated, she took her face in her hands and said, "Let's go inside and get that tape." They walked towards the house. John counted 10 steps approximately. He bit down to pick up the tape, but never got it. Yandy had kicked it across the dusty floor further into the house. "Why don't we go over to that couch over there?" she asked. Behind a veil of spiderwebs was a red velour love seat that was anciently inviting. The curves of it spread out like a tongue. What? He was scared now. Scared of this girl with the glossy lips and short hair. She stood just a few feet away from him, her face set in a grimace. "Just to get comfy. Come on, why don't you just go over there and lay down?" Yandy stepped to him. He smelled like more berries, but also something he couldn't describe, something like sweat mixed with honey. "No bugs, right?" "No, baby, no bugs at all." John squinted into the gold living room as the sun was setting through the broken windows. He was desperately looking for the tape so they could have some music for the ride home, but he couldn't see it through the dust. All right, Yandy. He stooped down on the couch, and the girl took him. The end. Thank you.